let's break down the reunion episode of Love is Blind Season 5. Before we do that, here's a little disclaimer. Although I'm a registered and licensed psychotherapist in Canada, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. My opinions, thoughts, or views are in no way reflective of the real people behind TV or movie characters, even the people behind reality TV characters. I can't and I am not diagnosing anyone. This is purely for fun, and if you want to have fun, stick around and watch the video. We get a gist of Milton and Lydia's marriage. They're playful, they're friendly, their relationship is built on trust and loyalty. They seem to be having a great time. Izzy partially admits to hiding the bad credit score due to being intimidated by Stacy's family financial status. Ultimately, they claim they did not work out, they did not date, met up after a week, and discussed that there was no future for their relationship. However, we get this moment right here when they do say that they are good friends and on good terms. Not sure what to make of this leg grab over here, but if you have any ideas, leave it down in the comments. We found out that Johnie and Chris also did not work out because he started seeing someone behind Johnny's back 4 days after the barbecue dinner. He said he would always have the back of anyone he loves, but he did cheat on her. It's interesting to note Stacy's facial expressions in this scene. While Izzy is hanging his head to perhaps show a little bit of remorse, I do wonder if Stacy's taking a little bit of pleasure in this. Because Johnie does start crying and saying that she blames herself, you can see that Johnie still hasn't healed from her low self-worth and self-esteem. And I wonder if because of this she allows people to go too far within personal relationships. Chris has also not been in the spotlight for negativity before, maybe because of his calm and charming demeanor, or what psychologists call the halo effect around attractive people not being able to do any wrong. But it's objectively suspicious that within 4 days of having defended Johnie at a barbecue, saying that he was in love with her, that he would find someone else and fall in love, but then also not tell Johnie about it. She found out from a friend of hers, she says, and again jokingly excuses his behavior and blames herself for not having chosen Chris, when in reality her actions had no impact on Chris's choices. While Stacy's asked about why she was so harsh with Johnie, they start talking and whispering to each other. In essence, Stacy mentions that she did not appreciate being called a bad choice for Izzy. And Johnie does say that I could have said that in a more common logical way. She admits to being petty, which it seems that many characters in the show struggle to do so. And about the group conversation, Stacy says that she had no intention of talking badly about Johnie, and Johnie responds with a very mature answer that we have different perspectives on the situation. It was obvious from the scene that Stacy eventually did want to join in on the trash-talking Johnie. Izzy apologized for only the delivery of his words, and again Johnie responds quite maturely, which I would encourage anyone to do so. Stacy's expressions when Johnie is talking reveal that she may feel contempt towards Johnie. And although her feelings may be valid about being talked poorly about, she still lacks the ability to take any accountability for her actions. Izzy and Johnie admit that they did try to explore their relationship orally, and Stacy says she was surprised because of how he spoke about Johnie. And she said it says a lot about Izzy, which is true. The extent to which he was passionate and aggressive towards Johnie at the barbecue, in such aggressive and misogynistic tones and words, now could have just been repressed attraction towards Johnie, which I think Stacy understood, because I remember her keep asking to change the subject. Stacy and Izzy talk about how they reconnected after a year. Again, Stacy just talks about how relieved she was that Izzy hugged her. Previously, in all the episodes, we saw Stacy repeatedly asking for reassurance in so many different ways, and it was really just about her and the relationship and how reassured she felt. The hosts then call in Aaliyah about how Lydia did not respect her boundaries when talking about Uche. Although I do admit, watching Lydia spill all that information about Uche was uncomfortable. I'm inclined to believe Lydia when she says that she just felt relieved and spilled everything out and wanted to be honest, after she was not allowed to say anything because of the producers, and finally got the chance to. Aaliyah asked for the truth about having come on the show for Uche, again based on what Uche had told her privately. And when Lydia said, I had no confirmation that Uche was going to be there, perhaps this was worded carefully. But then again, we learned so much about Uche and the impression that he gave to Milton. Uche was very aggressive and intense about him protecting his friends from Lydia or protecting others from Lydia. But Milton reveals that Uche did not respect his boundaries to not talk about who he was interested in the pods. Milton admitted to having no real friendship with Uche. That warranted the aggressiveness to which Uche approached him at the barbecue. And if you remember correctly, he says, I don't want Lydia to come between our friendship. Milton had handled that confrontation with extreme grace. In fact, he shows so much more maturity and closeness with Lydia, which gives us an insight into their intimate emotional connection. That they already had a safe word for when they both might feel uncomfortable. We find out that Uche and Aaliyah went on to date. However, this experience was very negative for Aaliyah, because we find out that Uche was speaking behind her back about how he normally does not find girls like her attractive. She says his tone was very mean and condescending. Izzy joins in by sharing that Uche had spoken ill of him as well, thinking that they were friends. Lydia talks about how Uche texted her, if there's anything you want to discuss that you hear after the airing of the show, I'm available. And Aaliyah says she was sent the exact same text. I wonder if she realized at this point that Lydia was really not the problem between her and Uche. And I wonder if she's more inclined to believe Lydia now. I feel like Aaliyah had been put through a lot by being told different things from different sides and was trying to grapple with what the truth really was. Milton then says Uche texted him as soon as he got married and asked if he wanted to talk about it, which speaks even more volumes about Uche's character. Uche likes the drama, he likes the aggression, he likes fueling people up, stirring the pot. He likes doing this thing called triangulation, which happens when a person who is obsessed with control brings in a third party into their relationship to maintain that control. With Uche, it's all been about controlling the narrative, controlling people and what they do. He tried to control Aaliyah by shaming her for cheating on him when apparently he's done the exact same thing to Lydia. He tried to control how viewers saw Lydia as a person. He effectively brought in Lydia into his and Aaliyah's relationship, when really he could have just focused on him and Aaliyah together. And when Aaliyah got a hint of the fact that Uche was not telling too much of the truth, he wanted to control how she saw Lydia and how people saw Lydia. He took it a step further by trying to control how Milton saw Lydia. Maybe Milton's right, maybe he's obsessed with Lydia. But I do think it's about control and losing it. Then the hosts have Captain America come on stage, I forgot his name already. He tries to blame this lady only because he was not attracted to her. She knows this implicitly because of his body language and his actions, and he's unable to fully admit this. And this is the only time I'll agree with Stacy's facial expressions. What are your thoughts on the reunion? Did your opinion of anyone change? Did the reunion give you any more clarity into people's characters? If you like my commentary, please like and subscribe for more.